Good afternoon, internet. So, now let's see if I can get the date right on one of these things, shall we? It's Friday and it's the 25th of August. How's that? I think I've actually got it right. And today, the weather's not too bad. I don't know if you can see out there from that angle. Can you see outside? We've had some rain this morning, but yeah, it's not too bad. So today, although this is a job, and I've said this before, that I really don't want it, I hate this job. This is the valve clearances, the tappets, and of course, an important part of the bike. Now this is where we get a little bit serious. This bike, as you all know, anyone that follows me, was bought brand new, and you know, I'd like to think that this bike now will probably do me, you know, for the rest of my riding life, along with other bikes that I might collect along the way, but you never know. But anyway, but we're talking about this one, this particular bike. So you go out, you buy a brand new bike. Now, everything I own, I know I've said this before, I over service it, but that's down to me. That's what I enjoy doing. And like I've said many times before, you know, if you look after something mechanical, hopefully it will look after you. So you go out, you buy yourself a brand new bike. Now, it had its first service, which was 500 kilometres. And so I take it back, and, you know, they had it there for half an hour, and they give me the bike back and I say thank you very much, and I pay them. And yeah, now that first service on any vehicle is important. You know, change the oil, because obviously any bits, any filings, any wear in the oil needs to be changed and filtered out. So oil and filter change, most important. When you've got manually adjusted tappets or valve clearances, whichever one you want to call them, again, everything beds in. You know, everything beds in. And again, it's important to check. Royal Enfield, in their service schedule, state on the first service, check the tappets. Now, unless the dealer that I took them to have found a way to adjust tappets through a tank, I'm pretty, in fact I am 100% sure that this tank on this bike was not removed, because I marked up the two nuts, and they definitely, unless they put them back smack in the same position and did all this work in half an hour, I'd say that my tappets were not adjusted. So this bike now has done, hang on a sec, let me just fire it up. No, I don't want to fire it up, do I? It has done 2,022.5 kilometres. So it's done, since its service, 1,500 kilometres to get it to the kilometres that it is now. And the next scheduled service from Royal Enfield on their service schedule would be 5,000 kilometres, which means that this bike would not have had its valve clearances checked until 5,000. Now, if it's got a tight valve, then fine. Sorry. If it's got a loose valve and it's tapping a bit, you know, the old saying, a noisy tappet is a healthy tappet. Some people may disagree with that, but the main thing is that it's not tight. It still is tapping. It's still, if you've got a tight tappet, that can cause all sorts of, again, an excessively loose one can cause all sorts, but at least if it's loose, right, you sort of get where I'm coming from, shouldn't you? At the end of the day, they state that it needs to be checked for a reason. So this bike going up to 5,000 kilometres without a check, I find totally and utterly unacceptable. Now, I'm not blaming Royal Enfield directly, because at the end of the day, I love their products. I think their bikes are great throughout the whole Royal Enfield range. You know, I think they've done a marvellous job. I think as a company, I think they're a good company. I think they listen to what people say and they try to improve things. When it comes down to their dealer network, well, that's where I think Royal Enfield falls flat on its face. I'm not saying every dealer is the same. But if you look at the internet, there's certainly an awful lot of sort of talk how people are not happy with the way that the bikes are being dealt with and things like that. Okay. So it's my decision to do it my way on my bike. Now, what I am going to do is I am going to contact Royal Enfield regardless of the outcome of this video. And I'm going to say to them, I'm not happy with the way that it's been done. Is there any way that I can do this, you know? And if they turn around to me and say, no, I'm sorry, if it's not done by an authorised dealer, then your warranty is null and void, I do believe the saying is, so be it. Because I want this bike to last. If I service it, I know it will. I don't think it would last as good or be looked after as good if it was done by a dealership. Right, okay, that all being said, let's get on with the job in hand. Now, obviously, the tank's got to come off. I've done a video of taking the tank off, so there's no point me doing another video of me removing the tank. Just excuse me for a minute. I am actually waiting for a delivery, although I don't think this is it. No, this isn't it. Not unless it's coming by tractor. So, okay. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is, I'll get the tank off, and when I've got that off, we'll put you back on, and we can see what the next step is going to be. Catch you in a minute. So, tank off. Now, what we're going to do next is, let's have a walk around here, shall we? What we're going to do next is we are going to, whoops-a-daisy, we're going to remove the spark plug, which then enables us to turn it round, that being turn it round the engine. We're going to remove this coil. It gives us this little bit of access here because this is pretty tight. So we're going to take this off. I'm going to drop that down out the way, and then this side, if we just walk back round here, what we've got to take off is this plate here, which then enables us to get our, now this on this bike could be a problem. As you can see, very limited access there with the engine bar. So I'm hoping that I can, I mean, I could take the bars off, which to be honest with you, is, you know, I don't want to. I'm hoping that I can get in there. That's an 8mm socket in there, and hopefully I should be able to get in there enough to turn this round. Failing that, of course, I could put it in gear and turn it via the rear wheel and do it that way. Either way, we will get it done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the spark plug out, I'm going to take this cover plate out, and I'm going to remove the coil, and then I'll get back to you once that's done. Don't go away. So I do apologise having to do a voiceover, but I'm afraid that the GoPro decided to throw a bit of a wobbler. Okay, so you can see that the cover plate's off. You get a little bit of oil that comes down, not a lot. Just give that a clean. I mean, basically, you don't want it dripping everywhere. Now, what we're going to do, this here, look, this is the electrical connector that goes on the back of the coil. So just leave that hanging there. I'll put the coil on the top for safekeeping, save it swinging about. And then next of all, we're going to take off the two cover plates. I'm coming around this side. I've removed the spark plug. It's always best before you do this, just give it a quick wipe, get any dirt out. the last thing you need is, I mean, I'm lucky. My engine's pretty clean, so I didn't have a problem there. There you go, nice colour spark plug. Look, running. Well, it looks like it's running as it should. That's with the exhaust on, you know, the different exhaust and the different air filter. So that seems to be doing its job quite nicely. And there you can see my mics are still working. They're nicely lit up, but still, never mind. Right, okay. So this is your little cover plate for giving you access to the crankshaft nut. There's the little O-ring. You know, check it, make sure it's okay. It really should last several times on and off. Again, it's always a good idea when you're going to do this sort of work yourself that, you know.
Excuse me, boss. You have a text message.
Well, that's just great. That is in the middle of there. There's the phone gone. I do apologise. Oh, dearie me. Okay. Like I was saying, it doesn't hurt to have some of those O-rings floating around spare. Give it a good clean anyway, so it's all ready to go back on once we've done the dreaded tappets. Just stick that up there, eh? Then it won't, well, hopefully it won't fall off. It's always funny when you're doing voiceovers because I'm talking away there. I'm trying to remember the bits that I'm actually getting to. Oh dear. I'm not too sure. I think I keep looking at these cover plates now, so you never know. We might be going to take them off. Right, yeah. So these are two 8mm bolts on each plate. Now the plates are labelled up inside exhaust and manifold, so really speaking, you can't go wrong. The secret is with these, obviously, when you take them off, again, slight bit of oil, so you know it's always best to clean it up round it. But when you take them off, be careful how you take them off. Sort of try and lift them up and out instead of just pulling them off, because what you don't want to do is wreck the O-rings. Now, Royal Enfield do actually say that the O-rings are good for a couple of changes. To be honest with you, when I inspected mine and looked at them, I think if you're careful and you clean them each time, you probably get more than two on and offs. And again, it's probably a good idea to order spare ones, and then, you know, if by any chance you do damage one or one comes off and it's damaged, you've always got the spare ones to put on. The last thing that you want to do, you know, is sort of do a job like this and then find that one of the O-rings is split or broken. It's not worth taking a chance. It's really not, because it will start to leak oil all over the engine and make a mess. So yeah, and of course, unless you're lucky enough to have a Royal Enfield dealer right on your doorstep, which most of us aren't, to be fair, you're going to have to wait for it to be delivered. It's a bit, the room that you've got here, I mean, it's not too bad, you know, it's, as long as you're careful, you know, try not to drop the bolts. So sorry, mind you, there again, there's not too far for them to go, is there? Because two of them, one on each plate, is dropped down in a recess. So just get yourself a pair of angled long nose pliers, and that makes it easier to take them out. Around the other side of the bike, so I'm leaning across the chassis. Do you know, it's quite funny when you're doing a voiceover, you you tend to you can explain what's going on a lot quicker, and then you find yourself, you know, into that. Oh, hang on a minute, I gotta wait. Oh dear. Unlike me to be stuck for words, really, but still, never mind. We're nearly there, eh? As you can see by my lips going on there, I'm saying a lot. I don't know what I'm going on about. Because it's not until you actually do this, play it back, and think, yep, I got to do the voiceover, that you think, what am I supposed to be saying there? Right, well, I think that's all of them out of there. So hopefully, in a minute, we'll get them off. If this here chap on the video gets a bit of a move on. Oh, no, hang on, we got another one to come off. Oh dear. You can actually learn off my own here. Work faster, boy, work faster. Oh, that was good. I never saw me walk round there then. Oh dear. Right, so yeah, the good old paper towel. Always handy to have the good old paper towel about. Because obviously when these come off, there's going to be a bit of oil in them. Now, like I say, try to get your hands in. There's like 2 cups and sort of lift up and slide out so that you don't drag that O-ring. And there we go. And this one is the inlet. No, it's not. That one's the exhaust front of the engine. Just give it a quick wipe look. Clean it all off. I mean, it's not dirt that's going to be on it, but just a bit of oil. And there I am saying that it's marked up, which it is. Exhaust for this one. And no guessing for what the other one is. Clean the area where it's come off as well. Again, you know, my engine's pretty clean. I've never off-roaded it, so apart, you know, and it's always kept fairly washed, so you know. But it doesn't hurt to give it a little bit of a wipe just to move the bits of drippy oil and any dust that should be there, because you don't want it going in the engine. So there I am now, look, trying to think, where am I going to put this where it don't fall off? Okay, so I think I do go around the other side of the bike for this one. And the reason being is, and I know this sounds a bit silly, but you can't really see from the top, but because of the way the recesses are cut in and I'm left-handed, again, you know, I lift up and sort of slide out towards me this time. This one's the little bit awkward one because the angle of the chassis as it comes down, and of course when it comes to adjusting the valves as well, the one at the back, your inlet one, again, you've got a lot less room above it to be able to work to. So there I am again, showing you again, inlet. Right, so this is where we get our spanner. Well, no, not a spanner. Our socket and our ratchet. Now it did fit in. It was a tight fit, but it did fit in. So, you know, that is the main thing. I'm not too sure where I've disappeared. Oh, there I am. Now, obviously, what we're looking for here is when you turn it. Now, when you do put this ratchet on, Royal Enfield say to do it in a clockwise turn. Now, most bikes that you work on, you do it in anti-clockwise. Now, the only thing that I can think of, and it's been mentioned by other people as well, is they want you to do it in a clockwise, so that you're going the same way as doing up the crankshaft nut. The last thing you want is for that to come undone. I mean, okay, it's not the end all be all, but it certainly would make your valve adjustment a bigger job. So get yourself sorted out. Now what we're actually looking for is there is a arrow and a T, and then just past the T there's a line that you then align up with a little marker on by the inspection hole. Now of course any engine, as it can be on the compression stroke or the exhaust stroke. Now we want it on the compression stroke. So basically it's find your marks, line your marks up, and then if you just wiggle the valves, there should be a little bit of play, and as long as there is a little bit of play, then you're on the right stroke. So there you go. Look at that. Look at the concentration on that man's face. Eh? Okay. Now you can see there I've got another GoPro. Well, actually, it's a bit silly me saying you can see that I've got another GoPro, because I'm actually going to put another clip on this, which you will see from that GoPro, and it will then show the lines. So let's rot the valves, look. Yeah, I think we're all okay on that, are we? Yeah, I think we are. Do you know, yeah, although this was only today, I can't remember if it's on the right stroke or not. Yeah, I think we're okay. Oh, we certainly are. Okay, so we're starting now on the exhaust. Okay, now the exhaust, the specifications that they say is 0.23 to 0.25, that's millimetre, or 0.009 to 0.010 in inches. Now I use, for this one, I use the inches. Now I went in for 10, which gives it its maximum. Now when I put the feeler gauge in, it wouldn't go in. You know, on 10 or 25 mil, it was too tight. It just wouldn't go in. So that exhaust valve was certainly in need of adjustment. I was running a tight valve. See, I'm trying there, but there's it's just not going to have it. You know, it's just, you can really try and force it in, but that's just not what it's about. What it should be is the one that you decide to use, whether it be the 9 or the 10. It should be a sliding fit, and it ain't a sliding fit. It doesn't go in. It's as simple as that. Now I have actually got a special tool for this that I had for the Transalp, and you'll see that that I was sort of hoping that it's going to do both the inlet and the exhaust. Now there's a tool, and basically it's a 10 mil, and it goes on there. Look. You basically then crack the nut, give it a little pull. It's not very tight. A little pull, look. And then what you do is you get the other bit of this. Give it a test again. Okay, so this is the other bit that I've got which fits on the little adjuster tab, see? And I just slacken that off a bit. Keep on until I'm happy with the end result, that it's a nice sliding fit. Now, I adjusted it to the 0.25 mil, which is the 10 as in inches. I mean, it's just, you've got to play around with it. You've got to keep on a little tiny bit at a time. There's no point in swinging it half a turn, just a bit at a time until you're happy that that's a nice sliding fit. And I do believe at this state I am. There you go. So you put the tool back on. So you put that there. Then the other one feeds down inside. And then the idea is you keep the adjuster still while you do up the nut. I mean, it's fiddly. You can see my one hand there looking at, not a lot of room. And let's not forget, this is the one where you've got the most room. Final check. That's a nice sliding tight fit, yeah? It's not loose. It just goes in and out. There's a nice drag on it, and that's what it's supposed to be. So that one was tight. It definitely needed adjusting. Okay. So there you go. First one done. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So now it's the final tighten up. Get them two together. Push one against the other, making sure that your adjuster doesn't move. Lock your nut up. Final check, I think. Yep, there you go. Final check. Nothing's moved. And I'm happy with that result. There you go. Job in the town. Number one, completed. Like I said, you've got to take your time. You've got to keep on. There you go. I'm having another check. I'm afraid it's maybe a downfall of mine that I really need to know when I do something, and I'll keep on until it's done. Possibly go a bit OTT, but hey ho. Right. So that's that one done. So now we're doing the inlet. Now the problem is this tool will not fit on that nut. The nut is too near the casing. So basically, instead of it sitting in the middle of the hole, it's back to the left, to the front of the bike. And you just cannot get that adjuster tool on, which is a real pain in the backside. It really is. It's ridiculous. So then I get a spanner, a ring spanner. Again, because the nut is so far back, that spanner just isn't going to go on. It's very awkward. Now, okay, so then you turn the spanner around to the open end. Now the problem around here is because of the way the spanner, the shape of the spanner, you're facing the same thing again. You've got nowhere to turn the spanner because it hits the back of the casing. It's the most ridiculous. Why would you have, come on Royal Enfield, why would you design the opening to adjust the tappets? It's almost like it's not centered, I don't know. Obviously, one of your engineers must have thought it was an excellent idea, but you certainly have made life awkward. So, after several attempts, I really don't know why I keep on doing it. Am I hoping it's going to move, maybe? Or is it just sheer disbelief? I mean, my Transalp is really awkward to do, to get at as well. But I got to be honest, once you take the inspection covers off that, you literally become, in the middle, right in the middle. And at least you can work on it. But there again, the stuff you have to take off the Transalp to enable you to work on it is unbelievable. Right, okay, so I seem to have disappeared for a minute. Oh, there I am. Okay. If I can't criticise myself, who can? Now, if I remember rightly, what I got a little 8mm socket. See, which has fitted in, and I've got that just to crack the nut. Because you got to crack on, if you excuse the pun. Crack the nut, crack on, get it? Okay. I've got to find something to say on my voiceover because I'm voicing over faster than this guy's doing the job. Oh, there I am again. Look, I'm back. Okay, so inlet. So we've got 0.08 to 0.10. That's in millimetre. Or we've got 0.003 to 0.004 in inches. Now, this one, I'm having to use a different feeler gauge because what happened was my metric one, which I use for the exhaust, only started at 5 now. So that's absolutely just too small. So too big, sorry. So yeah, I had to use a different set. The only trouble were they're not angled. But having said that, because of the chassis coming down and all the electrical stuff, angled or not, you still would have struggled. I knew straight away that this one wasn't going to be the easiest one to do. So basically, this one's a fiddly one. It's as simple as that. Again, it's take your time. Don't rush it, because if you rush it, put it all back together, and you haven't adjusted it right, or it hasn't been adjusted. What was the point? So just stick with it. When you do valve clearances, especially the one at the back, the inlet, it's so awkward to do, and you've just got to get there, get it done, take your time. There's no rushes there, eh? Great view of me there. It was awkward to. I managed to get the GoPro when I did the exhaust, and that gave you a good look at what it is. This one here was awkward to get in, so I do apologise about that. But you saw the gist of how it was done with the front one. It's exactly the same as the back one, except there is a lot less room and a lot more fiddling around. Right, so basically what I'm doing is, look, I'd undone the nut. In fact, no, I think I was wrong myself there. I made sure it fitted the first time. I think I've just cracked it now. I tested it again. I think I'd done it up to the 10 or the 0.004 if you're working in inches. And again, it was tight, so it needed adjusting. You couldn't get in there maximum in it. So, you know, both of these were tight. And like I said, you know, I've only done 2,000 kilometres. So another 3,000 kilometres I would have done before it went back into Royal Enfield. And would they have done it? That's the question. So, you know, you can really see, can't you, that, okay, I dare say their mechanics, who do this every day of the week are going to be quicker than me. If you do the same thing day in, day out. But to be fair, okay, they're probably going to walk up, they're going to do it once, they're going to go, yeah, it needs adjusting, whack it in. I keep trying it until I'm absolutely happy. I'm not saying how they do it isn't the right way, but they're certainly not going to be as fussy as if it's their own bike, you know. But what I'm getting at is they had my bike for like half an hour. There's no way. There's no way. Even the best mechanic in the world can take all this off, all the tank, all this, do this and that, and give me the bike back and change the oil in half an hour. So I'm sorry. I just do not accept the fact that these tappets were done. Plus the fact, you know, the proof of the pudding is in this where they are tight. You know, both inlet and exhaust are tight. So no, they weren't done, and I think that is pretty bad service. You know, when tappets are there, tappet clearances are there for a reason. You know, and when it's tight, it can have huge effects on a new engine. You know, a new engine needs to be treated properly with a bit of love and affection. You know, within those crucial sort of really up to the 5,000. You know, so yeah, you have to get it right, and I don't think mine was got right at all, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Well, as you can see, the inlet one is taking a bit of time, you know, but you've just got to persevere with it. There's no point trying to skip through and think, yeah, that'll do, because you know it's just not worth it, you know. Now, what I had to do was, because I couldn't get a spanner on this to sort of do it up. I got this little ratchet and carefully did the nut back up, and I kept testing with the feeler gauges to make sure that when I was doing it up, it wasn't dragging the adjuster with it, and I kept doing that until I was happy, and then I literally with the ratchet pulled the nut down, tightened it up, checked it again. I tried to do it here. Look, if you look, you know, I'm trying to get a spanner in, thinking, you know, this is the proper way to do it, because, you know, I can put the bar on top, but I just couldn't turn the spanner. There was absolutely no way I could turn that spanner. It didn't matter which way I approached it, which way I had the jaw of the spanner. There was no room for that spanner to turn to do up that lock nut. So what I had to do is a bit of a time with the ratchet with the 8mm on the the 10mm on the end. You know, and just take it easy and check. See, I'm doing it there. Look, and then I check again with the feeler gauge that I'm happy that it hasn't moved. once again, it's like I said, it's just perseverance. I mean, it really is. And I do believe that's it. I'm happy. I'm a happy bunny. Yep, I think, yep, I am. And the light's going off. So, okay. 2 tappets, 2 valves adjusted. Am I going for the... I'm just having to check that it's tight. Yeah. Okay. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn... I think I'm getting to this stage. Yeah. I'm going to turn the engine over 2 revolutions. And then I'm going to check the valves again. Just to make sure. So there we go. I've got my mark again. So I'm sitting here doing my voiceover, waiting for me to get to the right place, just to make sure that all is well. And it's absolutely thrown it down a rain outside. We're clouding over. What's the time? It's 5 minutes past 8, and the weather is absolutely awful again. It's, I don't know. Anyway, I wish this chap would get a move on here. I'll have to have a word with the mechanic, eh? Say, listen, mate, you're sacked. The way things are going, I can see us having a storm. We're going to lose the internet in a minute. Right, there you go. Okay, I'm just checking that we're on the right stroke. Look, yeah. And we are. Yeah, I think I'm happy at that. Am I happy at that? Oh no, I couldn't have been on the right stroke because we're going round again. That's the difference of doing the voiceover and actually doing the thing. But hey ho, we are getting there. Slowly but surely. You can never say that I'm not thorough, huh? Or if anybody wants to never done tappets before, they'll certainly they'll certainly get the gist, or they'll be put off for life. Okay, so here we go again. Bring it back up to the compression stroke. You virtually know when you're on the compression stroke, because obviously the compression is building up and there's more resistance as you're trying to turn it over. So there you go. Check the 2 valves. This should be it this time. Yep, I do believe. Am I picking up the feeder gauges? I am. So there you go. We are on the right stroke. Always the way, in it. Whenever you pick up these feeder gauges, you've got to find them all again. I think that one set I've got is a 25 blade set, and you can always guarantee that the ones that you want are buried somewhere in the middle. So that's the exhaust one checked. I think I'm happy with that. Yeah, I've got the other set now, look. Okay, so a couple of points before I put the tank on. Because if I put the tank on, I won't be able to show you. So here we go. Right, here's what I'm thinking. What I want to show you. When you put the coil back on, don't forget to do this here. This little connector, very important. Otherwise, and it's easy done, isn't it? You know, you go around here, you put your 2 bolts on, you put your tank back on, everything else, and the bike won't start. And that's why. So don't forget that. Now, secondly, when you put these covers on here, right, like I showed you, you know, they're marked inlet and exhaust. Now, when you put them on, they sort of rock a bit, yeah, and you think to yourself, well, that's funny. But of course, what it is, it's that O-ring that's actually seated. So what you have to do is get them in place, get your bolts in either side, yeah, and pull them down equally, yeah. Don't pull the one side down and then you try and pull them down equally and then do them up. There you go. That way you won't damage your O-rings. And to be honest with you, looking at them, I'd say personally, this is me, I'm not telling anybody else to do it, I would imagine you'll get quite a few, you know, valve clearance checks out of them. Always good to order a spare pair, mind you. If you've got a spare pair hanging around, you take it off, it looks dodgy, then change it. So that's that. So that's the connector to that. That's be careful how you put them down. Don't forget to put that in before, you know, I mean the cover's pretty visible, you can't go wrong there. Don't forget to put your little viewpoint in, because if you don't, you'll be pumping out all your precious oil, and the price of oil these days, we don't want to lose a drop. Likewise, and it's always, it doesn't matter what bike it is it, you know, this is so easy, you know, the access to this spark plug here is so easy to get to, but it's so easy to cross thread as well. Too many people, you know, you've got to be treated so carefully, yeah, because the last thing you want is to cross thread that. And I know we're helicoils and all the rest of the stuff that you can put in, but personally, if I ever cross threaded it, the head would have to go. Okay, so basically, I've got to drop the tank on, which I'm going to do in a minute. Yeah, what do I think of the job on these? Okay, compared to my Transalp, it was relatively easy. You know, you haven't got to take a lot of stuff off really, the tank off and those two, you know, one or two bits and pieces. The stupid part is when people design these engines, and I'm no engineer, but they make the, you know, the exhaust one is fairly easy to get to. You know, you can, there's plenty of room. But of course, because of the angle of the chassis, you know, that restricts the back one. But it's where it is. It's where they've cut the hole in the head. If they'd have took that back 5 mil, that's all it needed to go back 5 mil, so you can actually get in. I don't know, somebody somewhere didn't bring that one through, but never mind. But yeah, it's not a hard job to do. It's a fiddly job to do. You know, that's what it is. It's a fiddly job. I wish I had thinner hands. I wish I had a thinner body, but I haven't. Still, never mind. That's beside the point. Yeah, it's not a, you know, it's a fairly enjoyable job to do. You know, it's on my dislike list. But there you go. So this bike now, 2,000 kilometres it's done. That exhaust, the exhaust valve was tight. You know, it was to its maximum and it was tight. So another 3,000 before it would have been serviced by Royal Enfield dealership. Would they have done it? You know, I mean, would they have done it then? I don't know. I'm glad I've done it. I now am going to contact Royal Enfield and see, you know, see what I can sort of work out, because, like I said, you buy your bike and you want that bike to be treated the best that it can get, basically. And I don't think this was. It certainly wasn't given on its first service what it should have been. So yeah, anyway, that's down to me to sort out. Right, I'm gonna put the tank on and connect all the fuel lines up, which again I hate, because, you know, trying to get your hands up there, dairy mate. Still, never mind. Let's get that done. I'll drop it off the ramp. We'll start it up. And let's see if we can blow the engine up. No, I'll kid you not. Right, okay, see you in a bit. Right, all back together. I haven't put the seats on yet, but apart from that, all I want to do is start it up. It's either going to rattle like a bucket of spanners, but it won't, because I have every faith in me. They're the only one who does. Right, let's go outside. Let's see how it starts up, eh? Follow me. Okay, so I'm going to put you, where am I going to put you? I'm going to put you there, like that, yeah. Get you down a little bit. And let's see the beast burst into life, shall we? Now, obviously the mic's on me, so we're right over the engine. so I'm not cheating in any way. Let the fuel pump prime up. Fuel pump? Yeah, the fuel pump. Oh, here we go then. Well, I think that sounds okay. Hey? Well, that'll do for me, hey? That will do for me. So tappet's checked and adjusted. Right, look at this here, eh? Look at that, see that poor arm there, eh? That's getting the pipes back on under the tank. I've got to be honest though, that is a mixture of the tank and simvastatin, them cholesterol nasty things that doctors tell you not to take, but never mind. They make bruising oh so much easier, but you can look at it and think, my God, he struggled. Not quite. Anyway, okay. So at the end of the day, that's it, yeah. It's done. Tappets are done. I'm happy. The only thing I'm going to do now is, before I go up to my little trip in September, which is 4.5 hours ride from here, I'm going to change the oil before I go up there. I mean, I've got to be honest, the oil looks spotlessly clean in that. I truly believe that they changed the oil. You know, I really do think that they changed the oil and possibly checked a few things over on the bike. But yeah, so I'm going to change the oil prior to that in a couple of weeks' time, probably a few days before I go. So it's going up there with nice, fresh, clean, silkaline. So there you go. Right, okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this. I might even, if the weather holds out, I might even take it for a quick ride tonight just to see how it rides, although I don't think it'll make any difference at all. This was down to satisfaction. As Mick Jagger said, if he owned one, he did get satisfaction, not that he can't get satisfaction. Anyway, I'm off again. I'm starting to waffle, which is not the thing about this. So I might see you tonight. If I don't see you tonight, hopefully I'll get it tomorrow. Take care. I hope everybody now who got any doubts about doing your own tappets, it's pretty much simple, really. Take your time, don't rush it, you know, possibly put something on your arms. And if your wife has got small hands, believe you me, teach her how to take them pipes off under the tank. It wouldn't half make your life easy, boys. So yeah, okay, this is it now. Thank you so much for watching this channel. I don't normally say this, but you know what, hey, I'm going to say it anyway. If you like this, if you like the contents, if you know, anything that I do appeals to you or can help you or whatever it is, or you just like listening to me talk a load of rubbish, subscribe to me, yeah? It doesn't cost you anything at all, does it? Hit the subscribe button. If you never want to watch me again, that's fine, but hey, get the subscribers up. Right, okay, listen, I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, see you soon. Bye for now.